Hey, what's up? It's Bama B again. A good friend of mine tonight told me that she liked Freebird better. And I kind of like that too. Because I am a free bird now. Uh, I put out a video the other day, and it was a bomb. I didn't know that the TV was playing in the background like that was going to affect the sound, and then I went ahead and posted the shit anyway because I took the time to make it. So I'm sorry if y'all couldn't hear it. I'm gonna try to do better. I'm still new to all this internet stuff and these funny phones and all this stuff. And I told myself when I was in prison, man, I'd joke around with them boys and stuff when we was running tests. And I'd always get them laughing. I'd say, I'm gonna find me some little chick, cool chick, ain't got nothing else to do just to work the funny phone and this shit here for me. You know what I'm saying? And that'll be her thing, and I'll do my thing. And the only thing I kept saying was she'd have to have a degree in psychology, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm always rambling off some old crazy shit, and it'd take somebody with a good head on their shoulders to put up with that shit for a day's time, So if anybody's looking, I need someone. Anyway, I started tossing around the idea of doing a video or something like this, man, when I was in prison. And the reason behind it was, I started doing tattoos in prison. And I'm going to break down that story. I'm gonna try to keep this thing to about 15 minutes of video, man. But I get to rambling, so y'all might have to be patient. Like I was saying, uh, when I went to prison, man, I couldn't draw a stick, man, nothing. And I really didn't have nothing going on the street. I always worked hard, my whole life. That shit on my daddy's side, he was a sorry son bitch if you didn't get him to go to work, Uh, but it was just what I was doing, with it. So selfish. My motives behind everything, you know what I'm saying? And, at the end of the day, I never had shit, It wouldn't matter how much I had on a check, I didn't know what to do with it when I got it, If he was depending on me to drive the car, we're going to end up in the ditch, you know what I'm saying? But I get to prison, and first few years, I'm just angry as hell, and just wilding out, and you got this misconception that you can still keep everything going on the street like you was home. You know what I'm saying? You try to hustle this and do that, try to send money home. You think you're gonna maintain your life and all this shit, and that don't really last long. Anyway, I ended up in some trouble. Me and my partner Red, we drinking. We get in a fight with the police. I ended up going to hell. It wasn't even my fault. It was him, but I was trying to be 100. So I knew, Red couldn't afford no trouble, so I took the damn shit. He ended up doing 40 days on lockup. I ended up doing 8 months, It was in that lockup cell that I would sit at night and I'd come up with a game to amuse myself. I would lay on my side and I'd look at the wall, and you know how bricks have got them little pits in the holes, in the brick, and I would see pictures, you know what I'm saying, and I would just reflect and think about my past and stuff, but still didn't have no direction, didn't even know what I was thinking about. I was just over and over in my head replaying all these mistakes I made and shit. At that time, I was still thinking, damn, I might learn something, to do it better next time and all that old dumb stuff. But I was going through some stuff with my daughter, man, and it ended up working out, but I was afraid I was going to lose her, and like I said in that first video, I got a son in Houston. I said that was a long story, but his mama took him when he was a year old, and I was young, didn't know how to go about trying to damn maintain that relationship. He was a pretty good ways away. Still my fault, and I'm gonna have to take responsibility for that, And hopefully one day when he's of age and can make decisions for himself, he'll want to have a relationship with me, God, I'm trying to get in touch with him now, though, just to tell him, that I never once forgot about it, man. I mean, I'll get to that later too. I got stacks of letters and letters, you know what I'm saying, to people that I wrote, you know, and even if I didn't know where to send them, I wrote them. And, but like I was saying, one night I was in that lockup cell, you know, and I was just, you know, I've never been a religious person, but I was just like asking over and over, you know, how much have I got to lose, you know, to pay for my mistakes or to pay for the things I was doing. You know, I done accepted the fact that, you know, my prison bid, 10 years for that little bullshit robbery down in Buford. You know, that ain't what I was doing that 10 years for, man. I was doing that 10 years for all the other shit that I've done and just got away with it. You know what I'm saying? I had to accept that because there was no way I was going to be able to eat doing 10 for that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy, you know? But, you know, it's funny. Like I said in that first video, that I've always, or that I've, you know, started looking at life in threes. And, you know, I concentrate on that pretty hard, you know, but, because it was 3 days after I cried out in that cell asking how much I got to lose that I get a letter from some weird lawyer in Alabama saying that, you know, my daughter's mom just wants me to be the best father I can be while I'm in prison. And she gave me her address and phone number and all that. And it took off, man. I mean, I started writing her ASAP. I mean, right then, you know, and the first letter I got back from her is funny. It was a little card, and she wasn't but about 4. And I'm sure Mama helped her write it, you know, but it said, Dear Daddy, I'm sorry because I haven't seen you, and I miss you very much. And love, Taylor. And so what I did is I immediately I had an old cowboy book in the cell with me, and I was thinking, what can I do for a 4-year-old little girl, you know? And I drew a cowboy sitting on a horse with a lasso looking like it's going up in the stars, you know. And I told Tay Tay in that letter, I said, baby, this is a cowboy catching you a star. And I mean, it wasn't nothing. I mean, it was like I said, I couldn't draw a stick man, but I could look at that book. It was a Lewis L'Amour book, and I kind of rough sketched the picture. You know what I'm saying? Well, Tay Tay sent me the picture back, and it was colored with crayon, and she colored it to look like it was daylight. You know what I'm saying? She made the moon a sun, and you know, she put little clouds in it, and she wrote me a letter back saying, you know, Dear Daddy, will you send me pictures of animals and horses and cowboys in the daytime? And I laughed. Boy. I laughed because I thought, you know, she probably doing that because she don't like to go to bed at night, you know. So catching a star, you got to be out at night, you know. She wasn't digging that. So every time I'd write her a letter, you know, and I missed some here and there, you know, just trying to send her something. But I try to draw her a picture, you know. And, I drew her. I get to drawing them in the middle of the letters and all that. She started copying me, you know. She would do the same thing in her letters, and it grew, you know, and that's all it was then. It was a personal thing for me, you know, that helped me deal with it. You know? Because like I said, I didn't have any relationship with my son, even though I thought about him and thought about him and thought about him. Taylor was my #1 fan, man. The whole time I was in prison, man. I mean, I got a stack. I mean, it's just, I got stacks of them. I got more, you know. I'm gonna give them to her one of these days. I'm gonna give them back to her. You know, I still like reading them. You know, they get me through some days. You know, but it grew from there. You know, like I said, and it was probably a year after I come back off of lockup. I was in a cell with a good buddy of mine named Red, Red's a good dude, but he just ain't gonna do right, you know what I'm saying? But he taught me a lot, and taught me to stand for something. You know? He also taught me how to pick that gun up, man, and hustle in prison to make a living, man, to survive, man. Because like I said in that first video, nothing I don't think is worse than being homeless in prison. And what I mean by that is, you done burned so many bridges and hurt so many people, man, and when you in that cell, you ain't got nobody. You know? Nobody's calling on the phone, or nobody's sending you no letters, Well, they do, but it's one-sided conversations. A letter from prison, man, you can send a letter and you can ask 100 questions. And you people have the greatest intentions in the world, but a month later when you get a response from your letter, not one damn question's answered. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, this is going on, that, and this and that. But everything you was trying to, wrap around your mind, and you ain't got an answer to nothing. So, but the letters help. Anyway, Red one day, they told me to damn pick the gun up, man. This boy wanted some work done, and he ain't had no money. He kept begging Red to do the shit. So I lied to the man. I said, hell, I've been running. I just ain't picked the gun up in a while, man. But I'll do the letters on you for free just so I can get my hand back right. Boy, this is a big dude, man. I was worried about that shit. I ain't even gonna lie. And then Red lied. He said, man, I'm gonna stand in there with you and help you, you know what I'm saying? And that way you don't mess up and shit. Man, that son gun stayed in there long enough for me to get started, man. And he was gone. I ain't see his ass again until I finished that shit, man. Lucky for me, it turned out good, and it was solid black work. And anybody that's done tattoos with a homemade gun will know that solid black work, that's the hardest shit really to do without, chewing the skin up and all kind of shit. But I did it, and I never looked back, man. Once I did that one, people started coming at me, and I would do the shit for little or nothing, you know what I'm saying? And it just kept going. But one thing that always struck me about it, man, was, you're in a room with these people for hours on end sometimes, and there's a lot of ducking and dodging the police and shit. And so you kind of build this bond with everybody you work on. The tattoo man in prison is pretty much universal, So you deal with everybody, all walks of life, and that's what grabbed me, man. It was listening to these people talk, and I played it off. It ain't like I was damn, some kind of tattoo preacher. Don't get that misconception. I was going hard in the paint, but I listened real well, and come to find out later on in life, I think my family's I think they're all thinkers, man, on my dad's side for real, My papa would sit out from behind a tree and work on old alternators and shit, man, and I never understood why he would go through the trouble to sit out there and do all that dumb shit. And then I realized, hell, he was out there thinking. And so I guess I get it from him. But that's what I do, man. The whole time I'm tattooing, I'd be listening to all these people talking, and I started realizing it didn't matter what their story was, or where they come from, or what they was doing on the street, or who they was running with, or whatever. And the stories was all different, but it was like pieces of one story. One life. It's an experience. It's like that one life being looked at from so many different angles, man, and situations, that we go through. And I started feeding off of that shit, man. When I would listen to somebody, I'd be tattooing on them, and I would try to bring that experience to life, And I would try so hard, and it was rough at first because like I said, I couldn't draw, So I did a lot of damn tracing out of magazines and shit like that. Now what I like to do, or what I was doing back there, was I would listen to people talk and tell me what they liked or what they was going through, and I'd take me an ink pen or a felt tip marker, and I'd start drawing on their arm with it, and I'd pretty much tattoo their whole arm with the damn ink pen before I even picked the gun up. That's when I liked it the best, you know. But I always hated prison work because never could feel comfortable with it, you know. I always, like I said, you watching for the police, so I'm nervous as hell. I'm listening for keys and shit, and everybody else is doing their thing. I got my Hawk, man, and all, but I never could like listen to no radio or nothing and just kind of zone out with it. I always said, man, I can't wait, you know what I'm saying, till that day I get to touch down, man, and I get to be in an environment, you know, where I can really express myself. And you know, and I got to take some baby steps, but that's what this video is all about, man. I kind of got off point, but I'm kind of new to this, so y'all gonna have to bear with me. But what I'm gonna try to do through these videos, man, is I'm gonna try to tell y'all about me, man. I'm gonna pretty much give myself to y'all, man, for whatever that's worth. I ain't worth too much, so I mean, you ain't getting much of a bargain, you know. But I'm gonna tell y'all, and then I'm gonna damn show y'all how I'm gonna rise, man, from the ashes, and how I'm gonna get this tattoo thing started, man. And I want to see the world as one beautiful cartoon, man. You know, one awesome cartoon with so many different kind of characters, dude. But we're all the same. You know? We're part of the same cartoon, and I think it's gonna be a wild ride, man. And I know I'm gonna win, cause something told me in that cell, you know, that I could have it all back, but I was gonna have to pay for it, man. And I never understood that feeling till I started doing them tattoos in prison, and I fought hard, man. You know, I fought hard for 7 years. You can ask anybody, man, how I went with that. You know, I always took full responsibility for everything, and I went hard in the paint, and I told them exactly what I was gonna do, and I did it. And it is what it is, man. And now I'm on the street, and I'm faced with all these different challenges to try to get this thing going. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta get an apprenticeship, and you got these little certifications and stuff, and you got to go through the proper channels, man, because, you know, I don't want to be labeled some backyard mechanic or some shade tree artist or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to do this right, man, because, you know, I want to grow. And, you know, the thing about it is, man, and they'll tell you, I don't want to grow for myself. You know, I don't give a damn what we do with it. Like I told y'all before, I don't need the keys to the car, man. I'm a generator, not a manager, but I can generate. I just got to do it right, you know, and maybe somebody will get on board with me, man, and you know, direct this thing. You know, what I want to try to do is do the most positive I can do for the most people, you know, and any means necessary, man. That's what I mean by winning. You know, you'll hear me say that all the time, dude. I mean, it's just a uplifting word, you know, and I thank Charlie Sheen for giving me that expression, man. I seen him on TV. He was all cracked out and shit. Been up for about 4 or 5 days on shit. But he looked dead in that camera, man, and he said, I don't know about y'all, but hell, I'm winning. Living like a rock star. You know what I'm saying? And hell, I was sitting in a jail cell, and I said, you know what? He's fucking right, man. Damn. You know, despite all this shit, I'm winning, dude. And I'm going to win, you know. And I'm going to win for everybody, man, because you know, that's what I feel like it's all about, man. And you know, like I said, I'm gonna try to damn keep these things pretty short, man. And I'll put them out, and I'll get more and more into it and all. But you know, people's gonna laugh probably. I got a good sense of humor, man. As soon as I get the hang of this thing and get loosened up, you know, when this stuff ain't as easy. I mean, people make this shit look easy as hell, but this shit ain't easy. I do want to show y'all this before I cut off of here, man. You see this book right here? I don't know if y'all can see that. You see that book? Here's the other side. That little sticker right there, Tay Tay drew that when she was little. This is my magic book, man. And all it is it's a book about Alabama football. And this was it's like a commemorative book, you know what I'm saying, for the year we beat Texas in the national championship. My mama sent me this in prison back in 2009, and that book's been with me. Every tattoo that I've done since 2009, me and this book did them. And all that ink you see on the book, all that black ink, that's where the black ink would spill all over the book, you know what I'm saying, when I was doing things, because this would be like a table. I'd set it up over here, you know, and that's where I'd, you know, drop the ink in the little caps and stuff and all that. One day I sat down when I couldn't run tattoos, and I just started connecting the dots, and it made pictures all in the dang thing. And it's cool because you can look at the cover of it and you can see all the designs, all the patterns and stuff that I ever inked out or marked, you know what I'm saying? So I call it a magic book, man, because you know, I was building cartoons on it, man, and that's where I was bringing them life experiences to, you know, or I was giving them expression. I was bringing them out, you know. I think it's the coolest book in the world. But one thing, the reason I want to show you the book is, if you look down here, I don't know if you can see it on this camera, but right there, there's a cowboy catching a star. And back in September, before I was released, my daughter's 12 now. She was 3 when I left. She was 4 when she wrote me that first letter asking me to draw her horses in the daytime. When she was 12 in September, she wrote me a letter, and she asked me 8 questions because she said we was like strangers and we had to get to know each other. And she wrote me 8 questions. And I think the 6th question was, Daddy, will you draw me a cowboy and a horse catching a star? Man, I was floored, dude, because she remembered, you know, and I still had the original copy that she had colored. So what I did is I drew her a cowboy catching a star, man, like, you know, out this world with an ink pen and all. You know, I done stepped my game up a pretty good bit. But I sent her back that first one, and I told her I remembered too, you know, and I loved her. And you know, in the little star on the new picture, I drew her a big star about this big in the front of the picture. You know? And I had, you know, goals that she always talked about achieving. Like she wanted to play volleyball. I wanted her to graduate. I put a little heart with the word family in it. I put her some praying hands in there with some ribbons all in it, in the star, you know. And in that letter, I told Taylor, I said, Taylor, in life, you got to go catch them stars, you know. You got to be like that cowboy. You got to catch them stars, man. She's 12 now, and I'm going to try to build this relationship with her. And it's not going to be easy, but I guess y'all going to see just like I am, because y'all going to go through it just like with me, man. You know, if one person sees that I do it, then maybe they can do it, you know, because I'm going to come out of these ashes, man, like a phoenix, man. I'm talking about wide open, you know. I'm going to do it right. And we're going to see how it's done together. Anyway, I'm going to cut this one off at 25 minutes, I guess. You see, I done went 10 minutes over, but I'll get the hang of it. I'll get it all, you know, motivating and stuff. But I'm going to try to keep them to the point as best I can. But like I said in the first one, you know, I'm a rambler. I get to talking and, you know, whatever. If anything, it'll be interesting. If you want to watch it, watch it. If not, you know, y'all just trash it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I love y'all. We all gonna be some beautiful cartoons, man. Even if you ain't got no ink, you know what I'm saying? Need to get you something. I think, you know, it's awesome. I love y'all, and I'll put you another one out in a few days or a week or so. All right.